Welcome back. In this video, we will be going over how to pass an array into a function, right? So the first thing that we're going to be doing is we are now going to be declaring our function. So we're going to declare a void function. We're going to call that void function get array, right? So we're going to call it get array. And so this is what's going to happen, right? We're going to get our parameters in. So we're going to get our parameters in. We're going to say array, we're going to call it array. And then we're also going to have the second parameter, which is going to be size, right? We're going to get a second parameter called size. We're going to get get array, and then now we're going to be doing the the body of our function pretty soon, and then we're going to do integer size, and then now we're going to come down here and say for integer I is equals to 0, I less than size I plus plus, and then now we're going to be outing array I. Alright, so now we're going to be outing array I. Okay, fantastico. So what is going on? So first of all, we declared a function, a void function. So our void function called getArray, what it does is that it accepts an array and then it just displays that array. So we have two parameters. The first one is an array, the second one is the size. Now, do not get fooled because there is nothing that is inputted into the integer array. It has absolutely nothing. It has zilch, right? There is nothing into this array, even with the integer size variable. There is nothing in the integer size variable. This is what I meant when I said we are passing in the array as by reference, right? So you can kind of think of that when you're trying to explain or trying to understand the difference between a parameter and an argument, is that when you're passing a value in as reference to a function, that is a parameter, but when you're passing a value in, not a value but a variable in by value, then you would sort of be looking at an argument there. So there is nothing in this array, there is nothing in the size. It is absolutely nothing, right? We've just cleared nothing, right? So what we said is for integer I is equals to 0, I less than size. What the hell is size equals to? It is equals to nothing, right? At this point, size is equals to nothing, and then you've just outputted the array. But this is where everything is now going to come into fruition. So now we're going to say integer our array. Let's say our array is equals to 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 7 8 9 and then 10, right? And so then we're going to come down here, and now we're going to say we're now going to say get array, and then we're now going to display our array, and then we're going to have to pass in our second argument, which is the size. But what is the size of our array? It is 10, right? So now what's happening is we've actually declared a real array. Our array is a real array, right? It is a real thing. It's a real array. So think of it as I don't know, for some of you guys who haven't really done much of online shopping, but if you've shopped online, and say for example you've shopped for a product that is available in the United States or that's available in China, and so what would happen is they would then have to basically ship that package to your home country, and then from your home country they would then have to get it to the local couriers who are then going to deliver the package to you. So when you do purchase that item, they usually want the SKU code so that they can specify what type of item that you're buying. They also want the weight of the item. Why are they doing this? Is because when they are going to be booking in that product placed into that ship, they need to book that particular position, or they need to specify that, listen, on this particular day, I'm going to be, you, or you as a ship are going to be containing an item that belongs to this person, and is, the weight of it is this amount of weight, and this is where it's going to be located. So you are going to have to specify the weight of it, and you're also going to have to specify what exactly is it. So you can think of that as what we're doing here. We are telling our computer, or we're telling, we're giving the function sort of like a thing to think about when you're saying that, listen, I am about to be passing in a function as an argument, but I don't as yet have the function. So what I want you to do is, I want you to reserve a space, or I want you to reserve a space in the function header to basically allow for me to pass in an array. Because the thing that you need to understand is, you denote an array by these square braces, these square brackets, sorry. So you denote a function by these square brackets. It's not the same as if you just had to say integer size, right? So you need to specify the name and also those square brackets so that you can tell the computer that this is an array. But you can't pass in an empty array if you have not as yet passed it in by value. And the way that you can do that is by doing exactly what I've done, is you pass in an array by reference. And by reference, what I mean is, when the computer comes here, it says he's declared a get array function. One of the parameters is an array. Does this array exist? Well, it's going to come down here and look again. Well, the array does not exist, but surely, when we are now looking at the main function, there is somewhat going to be a value appended to this array when we're looking at it from an argument standpoint. When those values are going to be appended in the array, and then they're going to pass into the function as an argument. So that is what's happening now. So the function is expecting an array because there is nothing in this array, and now we've given it an array, and then we've also specified the size of it, because we've, when we created a for loop, we said that it should loop up until it is less than the size of the array. So now let's see what's going to happen when we run our application. Okay, my bad, right? Because you should not do that. Boom, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Yeah, so it works perfectly fine, right? So the reason why it gave me an error when I was the reason it gave me an error when I was doing this is because in the previous lesson I told you guys that you don't need to, when you are writing in an argument, you don't need to specify the data type. And it's the same thing with arrays, is that the square brackets denotes that it's an array. So you don't need to tell the computer when you're passing it in as an argument into a function that it's an array. So you just need to remove these square brackets, and it's going to do exactly what you want it to do.